we talked about this a little bit last week, but there are updates. So Donald Trump has essentially started his day by threatening to veto the National Defense Authorization Act, of course, which is the military funding bill, something that Congress has dutifully approved year after year for 59 years straight. Now, Trump is super salty toward tech companies, particularly Facebook and Twitter, for labeling his tweets alleging voter fraud and all these other, nonsensical arguments that have no basis in reality. And so he wants to retaliate against them by repealing something known as Section 230. Section 230 protects tech companies from being held liable if someone on their platform posts or does anything illegal, right? And so Trump wants to repeal that protection for the companies, and in order to basically use the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, as leverage, he's saying he'll veto it unless there's language in the bill repealing Section 230. So here's what he tweeted this morning. I hope House Republicans will vote against the very weak National Defense Authorization Act, which I will veto, must include a termination of Section 230 for national security purposes. Wrong, it has nothing to do with national security. It has everything to do with the fact that he hates being fact checked, which preserve our national monuments and allow for 5G and troop reductions in foreign lands. He does not want to rename any of the military bases that have been named after Confederate soldiers because he's a racist. We all know that. But the heart of this story is that he just really wants to retaliate against Facebook and Twitter. Now, both chambers are expected to easily pass the NDAA funding bill. In fact, lawmakers are even holding out hope that eventually Trump will just give up and he will not veto the bill. However, they do have enough votes to override the veto. And the question is, are Republican lawmakers who have been incredibly loyal to Donald Trump on most issues willing to override the veto? And well, here's Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican, speaking to Chris Wallace about this very issue. Here's what he had to say.
If the president, and he has said he's going to veto it, if he does, will you vote to override that veto?
We need to pay our troops. We need defense. And so my inclination would be to always vote for the troops and to vote for our national security, but to look for another vehicle to address the 230, the Section 230 issues that are so important to the president.
Listen, the only people that Republican lawmakers are more fearful of than Donald Trump is their donors. They're not gonna upset the defense contractors who are funding their campaigns. They're not gonna vote or act in any way that goes against the best interests and the profit motives of our weapons manufacturers. So if Donald Trump is gonna threaten to veto, Republicans, you best believe, are gonna do what's necessary to override that veto. There's no question about it whatsoever. And he's not the only one. Representative Adam Kinzinger, who's a Republican from Illinois, has also explicitly said that he will vote to override, saying in a tweet responding to Trump's veto threat that it's really not about you. But there are some Republicans who are unwilling to vote to override the veto. I'll give you those names in just a minute, but Cenk, why don't you jump in?
Yeah, I'm actually slightly less confident than you are that they're going to do this. I still think there's a small percentage chance that Trump bullies his way into one last victory here. So let me explain how that would work. So the Republicans are saying, oh no, we definitely need this. Defense. Oh, we got to make sure all of our defense contractors are paid off. They gave us a lot of bribes. I mean, campaign contributions, we're almost going to lose a war to Nicaragua. We need way more defense spending, right? So that's their usual stuff. And the Democrats' usual stuff is like, oh my God, I wish there was something we could do. There's nothing we could do. We're gonna give them $740 billion. Let me be clear, by the way, I would vote no, hard no way. This defense budget is way too large. It's insane. It robs our children of their future to pay off defense contractors. Every progressive should vote no. They should vote no until they get it to a reasonable number and reallocate that money. You want to defund the police? Let's defund the military so that we can actually feed our kids, okay, and get healthcare for everybody. But Republicans, of course, don't want to do that. They love the bribes, etc. But they're hedging a little bit, saying, I mean, look, we're going to pass it in overwhelming numbers so that we hope that Donald Trump, of course, will not veto. Then they say, okay, well, what if he does veto? They're like, yeah, but you wouldn't have to see at that point. But I mean, we're going to try to pass it in big numbers. Oh, you cowards! So there is some chance that if Trump says no, I'm vetoing it, they're like, oh, I don't want to go against Trump. All my voters are lunatics. They'll vote me out. Okay, so if the Republicans fold, what do you think is going to happen to the Democrats? Democrats will fold instantly. You've never seen the. I mean, that's not even a question. Why I say something like, "Oh, the internet will die," is Section 230 protects all tech companies from liability for crazy things that people say on their platforms. Now, you might think, "Oh, good, I don't want people to say crazy things." No, that means they'll take away all comments because they don't want. Otherwise, they'll be bankrupted by lawsuits instantly. Okay, so there goes engagement. There goes listening to any real Americans on any platform. All your comments will be wiped out, and they'll basically rip the heart out of the internet. By the way, the only good silver lining here is the first person banned under if Section 230 is taken away would be Donald Trump. Because now I'm not joking, by the way, that's 100% fact. Like,
oh no more Trump and no more comments. Oh no. Please don't do that. That would be terrible.
I hear you, Anna, but no, man, that's a disaster for the internet. But look, so why would Trump be taken away? Because what is the liability? If you defame people, if you lie, you spread misinformation, there's a ton of liability that comes with that. And who lies the most on the internet? Donald Trump. And he has the biggest account that spreads the most disinformation. Gone. He'd be gone on minute 1 if they took away Section 230. And by the way, all of MAGA, you idiots, all of your comments would be banned. You would be voiceless. You would have no voice at all. And then you turn around and be like, oh, they're banning our speech. What happened to free speech? You morons, you asked to have your speech banned. It is literally the thing that you would hate the most. But since Trump is the biggest idiot in the country, I don't know that I could find someone dumber than Trump in the country. He's like, oh yeah, take away Section 230, so I won't be able to post online. He doesn't even know. He's so stupid. And if you say, oh, Jake, I believe Trump, or no matter what he says, look it up. Just look it up. Oh no, I know every website's lying. Every piece of information is false. The only person who's right is your cult leader. Okay, have your voice banned. See how you like it.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.